Have you ever heard the saying, summer bodies are made in the winter? Well, if that is something that you've either heard and or it catches your interest, this Monday Launch Latin is for you. Excuse me. My name is Ryan Sanders. I'm the lead coach and owner of Project Fresh. And for over the last 13 years, I've helped people take control of their health, optimize their performance, and build sustainable habits that stick. As a certified strength and conditioning specialist and a certified sports and nutrition coach, I've worked with everyone from busy professionals to athletes, coaching them through the science and real world habits that stick. And so we're going to look at all of the challenges and obstacles that come with your fitness and nutrition by sharing stories, lessons, and systems that make long term wellness possible. So, as I mentioned, if you've heard the saying, summer bodies are built in the winter, and maybe that's intrigued you, maybe it's had you click on something and enter into an email or set up a call for a coaching program or something like that. First and foremost, that's not what I'm looking to do here. So you can go ahead and turn your email off, put your pocketbook, checkbook away. That's not what I'm getting at here. Is that I want to look at this at a broader scale. That is somewhat proactive, but I would argue not 100% proactive. And if you followed us for any period of time and heard us talk about why we do what we do, as far as me coaching in the world of fitness and nutrition, overall wellness, everything that we do here is preventative focus, meaning anything that we're looking to do and achieve is from a preventative, proactive approach versus reactive, which at least 80% of our culture, of our population in the United States, reacts. You put off the eating well, you put off the exercising well, you put off taking care of your stress, taking care of your sleep, doing the things that keep you healthy and well. And what happens? You're sick all the time, you're stressed out all the time, gut health is all jacked up, brain fog is consistent, energy is in the basement. And maybe some of you have even experienced the health scare where you go to the doctor because you get that migraine headache that you just can't deal with. You get that weird stuff going on with your heart. You aren't able to breathe. Your blood pressure skyrockets or your heartbeat skyrockets, and there's nothing you can do to bring it down. I hear those cases more and more and more. And now you're in a position where you really have to react because now it's an emergency, right? And so that is not what we address here. That is for the healthcare system, which we look at more like sick care. You only go there when you're sick, right? Unless you're doing an annual checkup just to make sure the blood levels are good. For us, we're all about proactive. So if you're not looking to be proactive, this channel is not for you. I can encourage you to sign off right now. If you're subscribing, probably go ahead and unsubscribe. We don't want anybody to be here where this isn't going to be valuable to you. So that's my invitation. I appreciate your time, your support. You're subscribed, but I'm looking for those who know this, understand this, and they're here to learn and to, more importantly, do the things that are going to keep them in a preventative and proactive, what shall I say, habit, lifestyle. There's the word I'm after, lifestyle. So getting back to the topic at hand, now that we have that foundation in place, summer bodies created in the winter, winter bodies created in the summer after you have all your fun. That is still very temporary thinking. That is not long-term lifestyle, longevity-based thinking. So what I really want to do is have you guys look at how about all season long bodies in the context of three different points. One, we just got off the holidays, and oftentimes there's food aplenty, there's drink if you drink alcohol, there's all the things that would easily take you off your plan, right? If you're working out hard, if you've been eating well, and then all of a sudden the family get-togethers, the parties, the work parties, all the different things come up, right? And this isn't the only time of year, but it's definitely probably our hardest hitter for celebration and food and irregular schedules, right? We're traveling to see family. We're trying to close out on those work deadlines. We're doing all the different things to wrap up the year, right? And January will be here before we know it. We can think about our goals when January 1st comes. But ultimately, this is where a lot of people get derailed on their success. So we can either continue to get derailed knowing it's coming, or we can be proactive and plan accordingly. One thing that I often teach in the world of, if you want to cut fat, we don't lose weight here at Project Fresh. That is not a thing, that does not exist. You're either burning fat, building muscle, or maintaining your current composition. Okay. There is no losing weight with us. That doesn't exist as far as we're concerned. You might think, what? Losing weight doesn't exist? Yes, it does not exist. So again, if you want to hit unsubscribe because that is just too radical for you, that's fine. I'm not trying to be radical, but I am trying to make the point that everything we do with our health isn't intentional. And I'll get to part 2 here in a second. I've got 3 parts for you. So again, 1, if we know these seasons are going to have a lot more food, it's probably better to plan to have workouts that are just going to kind of keep us refreshed and feeling good, kind of offset those higher, heavier meals. But because we plan that accordingly, we don't have to have any guilt, shame, or anything else associated with those, especially if you know that you're on schedule, you come into a holiday, you enjoy yourself, and you're right back on plan on Monday today. That's fine. It's going to go away in 3-4 days, especially if all the food's gone. There's nothing else in the house. We're going right back to our habits. 3, 4, 5 days, the bloat's gone. We're back to feeling good. No need to even bother stepping on the scale because we're going to be right back in our groove to begin with. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, with that being said, in that planning is setting an annual schedule. And this kind of piggybacks off of 1 to a certain extent. But when it comes to fat loss, I recommend doing only twice a year and up to no more than 6 weeks at a time doing a fat loss or fat cut program, meaning you're actively eating under the calories you need to maintain your current body weight. So we're eating at what's called a deficit in your calories. So let's say you need 2,000 calories a day to maintain your current body weight and composition. Muscle and body fat, just keep everything the same. It's 2,000. So we'd say if we want to be in a deficit, we're at 300 to 500 calories less. So somewhere between 15 and 1,700 calories, which that's going to cause you to burn fat, especially if you're eating enough protein and you're exercising, specifically weight training. Cardio is fine, but I would prefer walking as the main modality for fat loss with strength training. That is actually by far the best modality to lose fat, is to actually walk, not run, or bike. I like biking as well as another option. Some people absolutely prefer the elliptical. Okay, fine. That works too, ultimately. But the goal there is that it's an intentional plan to maintain your muscle while you burn excess fat that's stored on your body. And that's just reducing your calories. But you're only doing that twice a year. So okay, Ryan, I'm only doing that twice a year. What are the 2 times a year where I'd like to look lean and feel a lot better? Because, of course, if you're maintaining or you're even bulking, adding muscle, there's going to be a possibility of you adding a little bit of body fat back. Now, there are those that genetically are predisposed to not gain an ounce of fat. None of us like them if we are the ones that gain fat just looking at food, right? Okay, all jokes aside. Probably those that don't have fat loss issues are probably not going to be listening to me right now unless you're just intrigued or maybe you want to do like what we do. But ultimately, you're only doing about 2 cuts a year, because anything beyond 6 weeks, unless you need that extended time, which is a rare, that's case by case, but probably more on the rare side, is an intentional period of time, meaning you go beyond those 6 weeks. There could be some diminishing gains, if you will, or some diminishing aspects against you losing that fat that just won't play out to your favor. So that's getting in the weeds, but my whole point here is to be intentional with your annual schedule. As I mentioned before, it's all season long bodies that we're talking about. And then I think the last piece too, after getting into looking at understanding what your schedule looks like now, number 1, number 2, being intentional about when you cut, being intentional about when you build muscle, being intentional about where you want to maintain where you're at, which requires work too. All 3 require work. So we're always working towards a goal. This is a lifestyle, not a fad diet where we come into it, go on the cruise, go to the wedding, and then all of a sudden we're right back into old habits, upset that our pants don't fit, that we're bloated and fluffy around the midsection, and now we're huffing and puffing going up and down the stairs again. We don't want that. We want that to be gone for good. So yes, there is some work required on a regular basis. But as I mentioned in point number two, there are some downtimes and some active times for us to rest intentionally, which is number three. If you are on plan, on schedule, and doing what's per the plan, there's really no room for shame or guilt or anything else negative thinking that would otherwise take you off your tracks. Now, let's say you get into this plan, which I see this often. I show people this concept, they start it, and then all of a sudden, they just do this crazy 180 switch in their mind and they sabotage everything and disappear. And then they're right back to their old habits. They started to see some really substantial, great success points. We've done it in 2, 3, 4 weeks. Just had this happen actually with a client last week. All of a sudden, just pulling out, asking for refunds, all these things. And it's like, what happened? Where'd you go? Why aren't you responding to me? Came up with this off the wall random excuse as far as why they're leaving. No response, no opportunity to have the conversation. And sometimes what happens is we get into building these new habits, which addresses old pains, old strains, old thinking patterns that keep us stuck where we are and don't help us progress to where we want to be. And you've got a decision to make there. Hang in there, embrace this new challenge that you have and work through it. A lot of times our mind has to do the work first before our body sees the results. So if you don't allow yourself to address those things, which maybe you need more than us, maybe it's time to go talk to the psychologist, the psychiatrist, the mental health coach, your doctor, whoever you would trust with that, your pastor, deacon, elder, spiritual friends, whoever it might be that you feel you can trust with that, who can cover you and walk with you in that season. We highly encourage that because that is going to be the breakthrough where the mind is going to shift and the body is going to follow. So if the mind does not make the change, then unfortunately the body isn't going to make the change either. And let's say the body does make the change. I've seen people's mental side of the equation regress their body because they didn't address the mental side. So that's the last piece that I want to encourage you guys on here is that instead of summer bodies or winter bodies, or I've got the 6-pack in the cooler and just a matter of getting rid of the insulation. I've heard that one multiple times and said it jokingly as well. Then, what we really need to do is think of this as an annual process, as a yearly schedule versus, okay, the summer's coming. What do I need to do? Expand that. Now you're in a full annual cycle, and that's what really makes the difference. And then if things change a little bit here or there, you just make the adjustments because you know generally what you're going to be up to throughout the year. If you don't, here's an encouragement to make that a practice because it really does help. And I think it really takes a lot of the stress and anxiety that we experience that is very high in our culture. We are an exceptionally stressed and anxious culture in the United States. If I have anybody who's in the UK or Australia listening in or other parts of the world, let us know what that experience looks like. I haven't lived in the UK. I haven't lived in Australia. I haven't lived anywhere else in the world other than here in the United States and multiple different states. But ultimately, stress and anxiety is a key staple of the American diet. And I'm here to assist you with correcting that diet to make it a lifestyle nutrition plan. So that doesn't just depend on what we put in our, that isn't just what we put in our mouth, but that's also what we put in our mind and what we allow our mind to think, right? We are 100% in control of what goes on between the 2 ears. There's nobody who can influence you otherwise. And if you do give that power to someone else, then you have to accept what comes with it. You have to take responsibility with giving that power away. That is something that I will end with today. So that being said, today this is our Monday Lunch Live. We do this every Monday. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving over the weekend. Hopefully you're feeling nice and recharged and ready to take on the rest of this year. December, here it is, the first. Can't believe it. We will be here the 8th and the 15th. I'm not 100% sure on the 22nd. The 29th is my wife and I's anniversary, so I will definitely not be here. But I do hope that you guys are here for our next 2 to 3, probably 3, as we wrap up 2025 strong. And again, if you guys have any topics that you'd like to discuss, go ahead and drop those in the comments. Ryan, how do I do this with my health and fitness, my nutrition? How would you address it? What do you typically coach your clients on? That's what this is for. And we are committed to being here every single Monday at 12 Mountain Standard Time, 11 on the West Coast, 2 p.m. on the East Coast for those who are East Coast and want to tackle that 2 p.m. slump. Come jump on with us, jump in the comments, have some conversation with us there on the East Coast to keep you going for your day as you shake off the Monday and get ready for Tuesday. All right. All right, guys, keep it up. Hope you're having a wonderful start to the holidays, and we'll see you next week right here, same time, same place with Project Fresh. This is Ryan, Coach Ryan with Monday Lunch Live. We'll